Let's pray. Father Yahuwah, we thank thee again for another beautiful day. This is the day that thou hast made, and we are glad. We rejoice in thee, Father. We thank thee for all thy lessons, trials, and tests, even the tribulation that is done in thy will. All those things we are sent through. We are guided and led by thy Spirit to bring us out more than conquerors, all purified like a pure gold. We thank thee for all thy work, Father. We also thank thee for thy presence as we seek thy way in thy word. Help us, Father, to be with thee as we seek thy voice. Let thy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of Yahushua, grant us perfect pathway and passage through thy word as we search out the matter carefully. Grant us the heavenly wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Separate us from the ways of ourselves and the ways of this world. We thank thee for the joy and privilege. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Today is the 15th day of the second lunation of year 6004, the Sabbath day, and we're going to study Psalm 12, 13, 14, and 15. 12, 13, 14, and 15. Psalm 12. Help Yahuwah, for the godly man ceases, for the faithful fail from among the children of men.
They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. With the fluttering lips and with a double heart do they speak.
Yahuwah shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things.
Who have said, with our tongue will we prevail? Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us?
For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise, saith Yahuwah. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him.
The words of Yahuwah are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times.
Psalm 12, verse 7. Thou shalt keep them, O Yahuwah, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever.
The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted.
How long wilt thou forget me, O Yahuwah, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me?
How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me?
Consider and hear me, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death.
Lest mine enemies say, I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved.
Psalm 13, verse 5. But I have trusted in thy mercy, my heart shall rejoice in thy salvation.
I will sing unto Yahuwah, because he hath dealt bountifully with me.
Psalm 14. The fool hath said in his heart, There is no Elohim. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works, there is none that doeth good.
Yahuwah looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand and seek Elohim.
They are all gone aside, they are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one.
Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon Yahuwah?
Psalm 14, verse 5. There were they in great fear, for Elohim is in the generation of the righteous.
Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge.
Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. When Yahuwah bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad.
Psalm 15. Yahuwah, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill?
He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart.
He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor.
Psalm 15 verse 4, In whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoureth them that fear Yahuwah. He that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not.
He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved.
Psalm 12, 13, and 15 we already have a music for, so please look through the website for available music, and by the time this video is posted, we might have a Psalm 14 as well. Please keep your eye out for the music, because the music is given by Yahuwah for His people to help them memorize the words. Psalm 12, Help Yahuwah, for the godly man sees it. It is unfortunate and sad incident that godly men seizing. Yahuwah has shown me and for our people throughout the generations the importance of threefold code. If we, as a generation of Yahuwah's men, walk according to Yahuwah's plan of threefold code, there is no reason for godly man ever to cease. But it is a lifelong, multi-generational long endeavor. You can't get threefold code in a matter of years or even decades. It takes multiple generations, 3 to 4 generations. You're talking close to 100 years without fail in order to succeed. During that time, if any particular generation becomes either lazy or disobedient, sinful in a way, and go according to their own devices or according to the ways of this world, then the threefold code will not materialize. The next subsequent generation has to start all over again. Satan knows this. That's why oftentimes he's going to retreat and allow a particular man or group of men in a particular generation to be fervent in Yahuwah's faith, only to disappear after that generation is over. Go ahead and read the book of Judges carefully. Godly man ceaseth because the previous generation and the subsequent generation of that godly man never bothered to train up a child. I leave these video references and records for the future generations to follow us. Yahuwah willing, I and my children, the next generation, we're gonna do our part. But if the future generation neglect our witnesses, woe is you. To each man as he has done, Yahuwah shall reward. For the faithful fail from among the children of men. Again, lack of threefold code guarantees Yahuwah's people to fail among the children of men. This does not mean, verse 1 does not mean the people being separated, taken out from the ways of this world to be segregated in Yahuwah's kingdom. Notice it doesn't have anything to do with the world. WORLD. 12n13n14n15. Children of men are biological beings. There is no distinction between Yahuwah's people and the people of this world when it is called children of men. We are all descendants of Adam, and subsequently we are all descendants of Noah. When Yahushua went back to heaven, he lamented, when he comes back, will he see faith? He did not specify, when I come back, will I see faith in this world? He didn't say that. It includes every mankind, both in this world, ways of this world, also so-called Christians or Jews. The children of men are the ones who are speaking vanity. Verse 2. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. Please do not make a mistake thinking that they on verse 2 is worldly people. Please do not make a mistake thinking that they in verse 2 somehow exclude so-called Christians. No. Entire children of men. Why? Because godly man ceaseth. They no longer exist. Likes of Samuel, likes of Moses, likes of Elijah, they no longer exist. And unless my children and their children obey Yahweh's way, in our family, soon enough, godly man's no longer gonna exist either. They speak vanity. Vanity is anything that is not gonna stand the test of time. By that definition, everything in this world is vain. 10 years ago, Apple came out with the first smartphone, at least their version of first smartphone, iPhone. It was revolutionary. How many people do you know in Gregorian year 2017 who's still using iPhone 1? It become relic. You can't use it. In technological terms, they call it EL product, end of life product. You can't use it. We're waiting for 8th generation iPhone to come out. Go back another 10 years in 1997. Take a look what they made and what they were touting as a revolutionary item. Everything is vain. No one ever talks about last year's blockbuster movie. But they don't realize that what they are holding so dear right at this moment is going to be yesterday's news. They speak vanity. Everyone. And they use flattering lips and double heart. Flattering lips, peace and safety. That's the hallmark of flattering lips. Anything and everything for the sake of peace and sake of safety, security, comfort, ease of mind, leisure, easy living. That's the hallmark of flattering lips. Buy this product and it's going to make your life better. Use this service and it's going to give you extra time, etc. Flattering lips. And they always use double heart. That's the nature of buyer and seller. The same item, when a person is buying, he's trying to put it down and nitpick it to bring down the price. As soon as he buys it, he turns around and he boasts. And when he tried to sell it, he's trying to talk it up and accentuate its positive character in order for hope of getting higher price. They're always double heart. There is no such thing as a proper value. Everything is a question of price. Because the measuring stick itself has been perverted to the point that it's no longer relevant to any reality. Yahuwah shall cut off all flattering lips, all those people who say peace and safety. How can the rotten building ever be peace and safe? How can some structure, any structure that has a perverted foundation that is crumbling, be safe and peaceful? Any and all those who know the truth, they pound their chest, smite their chest and say, "Woe is me, for I am sinful in nature and I have sinned." It's full of iniquity and mishap. There's nothing to flatter about. And Yahuwah is going to cut off all flattering lips. Shall cut off all flattering lips. Of course, Yahuwah is going to do this in physical reality when Yahushua returns, and in subsequent millennial kingdom at the end of the time itself. But there is a preview already playing out in His Word, Yahuwah's Word. It's already giving witness, warning to those who have a hearing ear to hear. And the people of this world, as well as all children of man, are speaking proud things with their tongue. And their tongue, they prevail. They say, we are going to prevail because our lips are our own. There is no Lord of us. We are the discoverer of the truth. Whatever we agree, that's the way it is. We make our own culture and laws. We decide what is right and what is wrong. And in the process, they end up oppressing the poor, those who are quietly waiting for Yahuwah's salvation. And they end up creating many needy. Please don't forget, there are far fewer people who could watch this video in this world than those who go hungry almost every day. One in 3 people go hungry every day because they lack food to eat. Right at this moment, millions of people are literally walking without shoes, on barefoot. Very few people in this world get to have a video camera and turn on the internet and watch this. Minority. Why? Because this whole system of mankind creates needy. Not because of the lack of material. The earth produces more than enough sustenance for every one of us many times over. But because of the double heart and flattering lips, the earth's abundance, majority of them gets wasted away instead of being used up by those who are in need. Merchants would rather throw their merchandise and let it rot on the ground than provide for those who are hungry. And you can't really single out those people and blame them because they are part of the system. They can afford to distribute their abundance. Yahuwah is going to arise, saith Yahuwah. He's going to set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. Who is he? I set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The him is the poor, the needy. The poor and needy is used in singular form. Yahushua took this idea in Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon of the Mount. Those who hunger in spirit shall receive the kingdom of heaven. Those who are persecuted for the sake of Yahushua's righteousness. By default, the worldly people, the children of man who have destroyed the godly man, they like the ways things are happening in this world. If you are not in need, if you're not poor in spirit, then it doesn't apply to you. When Yahuwah says, I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. You're going to be the puffing. You're going to be the one who's puffing at the needy and the poor. And the evidence is in verse 6. All this is recorded, testified, and given proper witness, seal of witness in Yahuwah's word. The words of Yahuwah are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. And Yahuwah shall keep Yahuwah's words. Verse 7, thou shalt keep them. Them is Yahuwah's words, plural. Verse 7 has been perverted in likes of NIV to say that, oh, Yahuwah's gonna keep Yahuwah's people. Where does Yahuwah's people come from? The needy and the poor is singular, him. Like Adam is he. Yahuwah will never call Adam they. Although when Yahuwah was calling Adam, he was calling all of us. Man is singular, even if it includes 7.5 billion people all at once. Them is plural because them is corresponding to Yahuwah's words, plural in verse 6. Satan hates this psalm. He really, really hates it. Because he knows that anyone who give heeding, true heeding, listening to Yahuwah's words, gonna defeat him. He knows that. That's why he's been busy at perverting that verse 7, among many other verses. NIV says something like, Yahuwah shall keep Yahuwah's people. No, it's not Yahuwah's people. If Yahuwah cannot keep his words pure, set aside from the wickedness and iniquity of this world, from the tainted hands of the children of men perverting it, how can he save his people? He can't even keep his words. How can he keep us? Verse 7 again. Yahuwah shall keep them, or Yahuwah. Yahuwah shall preserve them. Them is Yahuwah's words. From this generation forever. Let's just back up a minute. And let's say, for the sake of argument, let's pretend, listen very carefully. Let's just for the sake of an argument, that them is Yahuwah's people. Then the entire Psalm 12 falls apart. It becomes self-contradictory. Why? Because of verse 1. If Yahuwah's people are kept throughout all generation, Yahuwah shall preserve Yahuwah's people from this generation forever. Then what is Psalm 12 verse 1 talking about? Godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fade from among the children of men. Yet, on the very same Psalm, verse 7 says, Yahuwah's gonna keep them from this generation forever. Which one is it? It is sad. I mean, it's comical that these so-called biblical scholars who argue that verse 7 is talking about Yahuwah's people, they don't even go back 6 verses before. We fail as a people because we ignore Yahuwah's warning of threefold accord. We fail to train up our children, and our children fail to obey their parents. However, our failure shall take nothing away from the sanctity and holiness of Yahuwah's words. Yes, man can crumble. Yes, our families can falter. Yes, it's very possible my children and grandchildren may reject Yahuwah. That doesn't take anything away from Yahuwah's words. Verse 8 is icing on the cake. It puts everything in proper perspective. The wicked walk on every side. Every side, up and down, left and right. Wicked walk every side. When the vilest men, plural, are exalted. When the wicked and disobedient, rebelling Yahuwah's words are exalted, the wicked is everywhere. And that's the time frame that we are living in. That's why they say things like verse 7 is, oh, that's not Yahuwah's word. Yahuwah never promised that he's going to keep his word protected and preserved. Yes, he did. He promised that he's going to keep it purified 7 times in the furnace of this earth. And we have it. Psalm 13, how long wilt thou forget me, O Yahuwah, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? Even when me as an individual do everything that is correct, that is possible to obey Yahuwah's way. I'm not saying that is likely. We all falter. But even if individual man was perfect in walk before Yahuwah, if you are walking in truth, your heart's gonna be filled with the sorrow every day. Because like Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah, we live in this mist of thick iniquity. We cannot make it go away. Yes, I could turn on the candle and let the light burn, but everywhere around me, as my candle is burning, everywhere surrounding that candlelight is pitch black darkness. How can you not have a sorrow? You must be completely ignorant of what's happening around you. We rejoice in the midst of sorrow. Death to your left, death to your right, but the children of Israel went through the midst of sea. That's the picture. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Psalm 23. We are not ignorant of the fact that death surrounds all of us. Rebelling against Yahuwah's word surrounds all of us. Do not be naive to that fact. How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? They say, the enemies keep saying, oh, there is no Yahuwah Elohim. God is myth. Man-made God, because they couldn't explain scientifically all the things that are happening in this universe. Now that we could figure it out, we don't need God. We have a science. Our own knowledge is our God. They are exulting over us. Verse 3, consider and hear me, O Yahuwah my Elohim. Lighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. If Yahuwah does not reveal his truth to a man, any man, he or she can never see the truth. Lest mine enemies say, I have prevailed against him. Those that trouble me rejoice when I'm moved. Shaken out of your faith. Being moved means shaken out of the faith. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I hope this is the proper testimony of all of us. I have trusted in thy mercy, not I choose to. You must be able to look back your footstep and be able to say this. Verse 5 is not a declaration of your choice. It's not the declaration of your will. It's the evidence of how you have walked so far. I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. Verse 6, however, is a declaration of your will. I will sing unto Yahuwah, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. We still have to make that choice. Even though we might have trusted in Yahuwah's mercy up to now, we still have to make the choice to sing unto Yahuwah. The light is shining, and we could see the light shining through because it's cutting through, it's piercing through the layers of darkness. If there was no darkness at all, it was complete pure light, how would you know any more light is coming? Can you get wet when you are 10 feet in swimming pool below surface line? Can you get any wetter? You could sprinkle some more water as you dive in the swimming pool or deep in ocean. You can't get any wetter if you're under the water. Do you understand? We recognize Yahuwah's greater and greater revelation of his light, the ray of truth, because we are still in what? In darkness. That's how we know, oh, I thought this is bright enough. But when the brighter light comes, we recognize, wow, it was actually dark. That's why Bible tells us that his righteousness and his truth is going to be brighter and brighter until what? Until the perfect day. Exact noonday, when it can't get any brighter, right? We rejoice and sing unto Yahuwah because we recognize that He's dealing to us His bountiful. Why? Because we are sitting in the midst of darkness. So it is rejoicing in sorrow. You have to have both. If you only pay attention to your joy, you become a fool. If you only pay attention to the sorrow of this world, you become unfruitful. You must be able to do this mutually, at least seemingly mutual opposite way, at the same time. You must be hungry every day in order to appreciate the food. But you also must be able to eat good food in order to remain healthy. How can hunger and being full happen same time, every day? But that's the nature, that's how it has to be. If your stomach is full constantly, every waking moment, and you never know hunger, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to get really pudgy around your body. Okay? And your psychological mindset's going to be affected by that extra amount of physical energy. Right? Your body, your mind gets lazy, irritable, yelling and screaming. You don't have any way to discipline your mind. Opposite is also true. If you are always hungry, not ever eating, you're not going to last. Your body's going to quit operating. Your organs are going to shut down, and you're going to drop dead. So please do not misunderstand what the Bible is telling you about the sorrow filling your heart daily. That sorrow is not sorrow because of your sin. You must rejoice in Yahuwah, in Yahushua's name, in the midst of sorrow surrounding you. Jonah was in whale's belly for 3 days and 3 nights. He was covered by who knows how many feet of water above him, next to him, below him, all around him, as this great whale swam up and down, right? Whale is air breather, so at least every hour or so he has to surface to take a breath and then go diving, right? But some whale could go down to 3,000 feet or better, far deeper than any military submarine can go down. Jonah was in the midst of despair, yet he was rejoicing. He rejoiced because he repented. Noah was in the midst of the deluge that wiped up the whole earth. 40 days and 40 nights of continual rain. Well, it is called rain, but it was nothing like our rain. Yet, inside of the ark, he was rejoicing. That's the picture of all of Yahuwah's people in this world. That's why Yahushua said, please do not take my people out of this world. Leave him in the world, but don't let them be of the world. What would have happened if Noah was of the rain? What would have to happen physically? The ark has to be what? Cracked open, and it has to be filled with the water, just like outside. Then it is become of the rain, right? Yahuwah doesn't want us to become of the world. Because if we are of the world, will drown. Same thing with Jonah. Yes, he was in the midst of the ocean for 3 days and 3 nights. Deep sea. But he was not of the ocean, was he? No. He had air to breathe. Why? Because the whale created a pocket inside of the water, but not of the water. That's the picture of Yahushua's people. Yahushua specifically prayed for that in book of John chapter 17. Father, do not take these people, my people, out of the world, but leave them in, but protect them. That's what it means when the Bible says, yes, we may be in this world, but we are not of the world. We don't breathe water. Because no living man can breathe water and live. They all drown. And Psalm 14 verse 1 talks about the very person who is not only in this world, but he is of this world. He's dead. His lung is filled with water. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Elohim. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Anyone who says there is no Elohim, they define and declare themselves to be of this world. These are the same vein of thought as anyone who argues, oh, you could dive into the swimming pool and still breathe underneath the water. You could breathe the water. You first. Let's see you fill your lung with the water, ordinary water, and see if you survive. Verse 2, Yahuwah looked down from heaven upon the children of men. Here again, that expression, the children of men. No distinction between the worldly people, so-called, and so-called godly people or religious people. No difference. Children of men. To see if there were any that did understand and seek Elohim. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. That's our nature. We are all born dead. No good. All perverted. Filthy. Verse 4 is a rhetorical question. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Absolutely. That's why they commit iniquity. If they had any kind of knowledge in truth, they will think twice about committing iniquity. So what would you do to people who have no knowledge? They are brainless. And they are committing iniquity like drinking water. What would you tell them? What could you tell them? If you try to tell them anything, you are also a fool. Workers of iniquity end up eating Yahuwah's people as they eat bread. And they never call upon Yahuwah. How can they call upon somebody who they acknowledge to be non-existent? Verse 5, there were they in great fear, for Elohim is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge. Now these are all past tense. There were they in great fear, for Elohim is in the generation of the righteous. When was the only time the entire children of men were in fear? Were in fear. Before they what? Got destroyed. There were they in great fear. When was the only time in history this happened? Noah's flood. Everybody who were about to drown, they were in fear. We don't know how long. Probably few moments at best. But they knew they were gonna. There were they in great fear, for Elohim is in the generation of the righteous. Who is the righteous at that particular frame of time? Noah's people. Notice it says on verse 5, Elohim is in the generation of righteous. Elohim is always in present tense. It is wrong to say at that time Yahuwah was with Noah. That is incorrect way. Yes, it is correct grammatically. Grammatically it's correct. In English language, if you were in an English class and you wrote down God was with Noah, you'll get a check mark. But this Yahuwah's book is not an English book. It's a law book. Yahuwah cannot be described as somebody who was. Yahuwah is always somebody who is. Okay? So Elohim is in the generation of the righteous. Noah and his generation, his 3 sons and his 3 daughter-in-law, along with his wife, 8 people. That's the generation. Yahuwah is with that generation. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge. Who's ye? Those generation, the 8 people, plural. Do you understand? Those 8 people, as they came out from Noah's ark, that was the token of shaming those people who have told them for what? 100 years, why are you building an ark? Why are you building this ship on the top of a mountain? That was their counsel. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Verse 6, ye are the people of this world. My bad. The poor is Noah's family. The poor. Ye have shamed, past tense. They no longer shame because they're dead. Sorry, okay? The counsel of the poor, because Yahuwah is his refuge. His is the poor. It's describing the poor. Okay? Because for the 100 years as Noah was building his ark, according to Yahuwah's guidance and his commandment, people came around looking at him, making fun of him. Because you're not supposed to build a great ship on the top of a mountain. If you're going to build a ship, where do you do it? Near the ocean, near the port. Verse 7, oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when Yahuwah bringeth back, again, present tense, bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. Let's move on to the last psalm for today, Psalm 15. Yahuwah, who shall abide in thy tabernacle, who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. Sadly, none of us qualify as this person on verse 2. None of us walk uprightly, and none of us work righteousness, and none of us speak truth in our heart. Sometimes we do, sometimes we fail. Every one of this verb on verse 2 is present tense. Walketh, worketh, speaketh. That means there should be no what? Exception. It's like saying Christian Kim breatheth. Of course I breathe. When do I breathe? As long as I'm alive. Is there any moment that I'm not breathing? Nope. Because as long as I'm a living being, I must breathe. Well, sometimes you hold your breath. That's called part of the process of the breathing, right? You inhale, you hold your breath, then you exhale, then you inhale again. There could be a brief moment of a seemingly not breathing, but that whole process, inhale, exhale, and holding, is called breathing. There is never a moment in this physical body, as long as it's alive, that I do not breathe. So I could say, without reservation, without any qualification, that I could absolutely say, Christian Kim breatheth. Right? But I cannot say, Christian Kim thinketh. Because there are times that I don't think. Does that make sense? Why did you do that? Oh, sorry, I wasn't thinking. Right? Why did you throw that trash out? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't thinking. So I can't say, yeah, I think. I can't say that. But I could say, I breathe. He that walketh uprightly means like that. It has to be someone who walk uprightly. When? All the time. All the time. And worketh righteousness. Oh, there are plenty of things that I work that is not righteous. And do I speak truth in my heart all the time? I try, but I'm not there yet. He's the one who could dwell in Yahuwah's holy hill and abide in Yahuwah's tabernacle. There's nobody else. And it gets worse. Look at verse 3. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor. That's 3 other conditions on top of that. 6 total. In whose eyes a vile person is contemned. Do I contemn every vile person? No. There are times that I look at the worldly things and say, oh, I wish I had that. I don't contemn it at that moment. But he honoreth them that fear Yahuwah, he that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. So, vile person is contemned, honoreth them that fear Yahuwah, he that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. That's 3 more. That's a total of 9. He that putteth not out his money to usury, that's 10th one. Nor taketh reward against the innocent, that's 11th. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. So out of 11, you could take the first 3 out. Because he that walketh uprightly, worketh righteousness, and speaketh truth in his heart is the category. And then verse 3 through verse 5 is description of those 3 things. It's described in 8 different ways. 8 different ways, right? He that backbiteth not his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eye a vile person is contemned, but he honoreth them that fear Yahuwah, he that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not, he that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh a reward against the innocent. 8 categorical description of 3 different ways of looking at the righteous man. And how do you define this righteous man? One who can and who shall abide in Yahuwah's tabernacle. One who shall dwell in Yahuwah's holy hill. So who is this person that could qualify all this? Surely not I. I can't qualify this. Who? Yahushua, our Savior. He qualifies all this. You understand? Yahushua, Jesus Christ, Yahushua our Savior, is the only one among the children of men who could qualify all this. He has satisfied all the requirements. That is why if we are worthy to be found in Yahushua HaMashiach, just like Jonah in the belly of the whale, just like Noah and his 7 family members in the mist, in the inside of the ark. Okay? It was the ark that survived the deluge, right? It was the whale that was living in the water, in the ocean. Jonah happens to be in the whale. Noah and his family happen to be in the ark. Exactly same way, okay? Illustration-wise, it's exact same illustration. Those who are found in Yahushua HaMashiach, in the midst of Him, are the ones who gonna get to abide in Yahuwah's tabernacle and dwell in His holy hill. None other. How do you know you are abiding in Yahushua? Simple. You do what He says. If you do what He says, then you abide in Him, and He abides in you. If you don't, you are on your own. Like Jonah being dumped out of ship, right? They dumped him. They threw him overboard. Went into the ocean. That's the picture. You're on your own. Swim, Jonah, swim! Right? Before you turn to a fish food, you better swim really fast. How long do you think Jonah is going to last? An hour? 2? How about Noah and his family outside of the ark? How long do you think they would have survived? You obey Yahushua's words, not only because what He tells you is right, but that's the only way you're going to live. So those who disobey and rebel against the word of truth, they are already dead. They have executed the death sentence on them. They are murderers because they kill themselves. If you jump off from Golden Gate Bridge, you think you're gonna survive? No, most likely no. You're gonna drown and die. So who killed you? Who killed you? You did it. You killed it. That's why it's called homicide. You killed yourself. Suicide. Homicide is general, killing a man. Suicide. You killed yourself. Another reason why you can't be forgiven, because you have committed murder. Those who commit murder are worthy of death. Okay? Because you broke the 6th commandment. I think it is 6th commandment, right? No. 4th commandment, 5th commandment is, honor thy parents. 6th commandment, correct. 6th commandment is do not murder, do not kill. 7th commandment is do not commit adultery. So, kill yourself. Make sure you guys find out where you stand. And make sure that as much as you have a power to do so, you train up your children. I hope and pray my children who will be watching this choose to follow their father and their grandfathers and their great-grandfathers' way and learn from the Bible. Let us pray. Father Yahuwah, we thank Thee again for another beautiful day. This is the day that Thou hast made, and we are glad. We rejoice in Thee, Father. We thank Thee for Thy opportunity for Thy people to walk before Thy way according to the teachings of the Bible, to put Thy way to test, to verify that Thou keepest Thy word. We thank Thee for that opportunity to dwell in the joy and amazement of Thy preparation. Help us to remember. Help us to remember what we said all those years ago. Grant us intellect to recollect our own thoughts of those years gone by, to look back and verify what kind of questions we are having that are being answered right at this moment. Allow us to be the people of faith, not of the doubt. We thank Thee for the opportunity to serve Thee and worship Thee in Yahushua HaMashiach. Let the name of Yahuwah, our